Alright, so we are continuing with the roof. Let's work on this little roof element here. We see that it has a gable and a hip, which means that the hip, of course, will be out in front. We've already drawn that at 18 inches. The gable will be set back. They actually have on their example only a 5-inch overhang, and that's too small. That's not nearly big enough. So let's make it a 10-inch for this one. So this will be where that gable is. It's coming up and down. We know that this this slope on this side and this slope in the front are both 7 and 12s. So that means our line will just be a simple 45-degree angle on both sides. And those will go until they hit that gable, and then they connect. And then we draw our gable just randomly up, moving to some point. Don't worry about where this ends yet. These show as 8-foot plates, but they're going to be 10-foot plates, and since they're all 7 and 12 pitches, we have normal valleys. They're not bastard hips and valleys, they're standard. So that one will be it, and this will be normal as well. And actually, this one's going to be completely different because there is no hip on this side. It's all a gable. So this roof is going to go up to some high spot way up here, this point right here at the center. That's where this is going to go up to. So we'll just ignore that for now. So this comes up until it hits that, and that's the point where we have this little deal here where we have another gable on the side that kills into this side of the roof. So what they've done is they're building a wall, this gable wall. I'll show you where that is. It's this side over here, right here. This is it here, this gable. Let's copy that down so you can reference it. I'm going to turn it sideways so that it kind of emulates what's going on here. So we have to build this gable here over on the side. So there's a wall here that you can't see. It's this wall with the siding on it right there. We're just going to color that red for now, kind of a dotted line. That represents the wall. And it looks like they have a 12-inch overhang, which is fine. So what's going to happen here is we can actually just take this and offset it 12 inches, because that's going to be our gable end. And we can take a wall that we're going to move over 12 inches and just sit it up here. This is a wall that's kind of up in the attic. It's not really part of the house. It's just sitting up there. So how does this gable end, which is this right here, intersect with all this? Well, the way it does is you basically take this roof and mirror it until you create this little zigzag. And you can see that zigzag is right here also. Elevation view. The gable comes down, then we have a valley that goes up and then back down. So the gable comes down, and then we have a valley that goes up and then back down. You can see it over here as well. We actually want to, just for kicks. Right here you can see, here's the gable end. The valley goes up, and then we have our ridge on top. I'm just going to undo all that and get back to here. Now we want to just leave this about like that. Alright, and it's this huge gable. We need to figure out where this end down here sits, because this gable ends up falling down onto this. And I have a feeling that the back end of this gable wall is this one right here. Best way to find that out, of course, we can look over here, and it looks like that's what was planned. You can see this is one large gable. This is the top of the gable, the ridge, and that's the back and the front of it. So if that's the case, and we have an 18-inch overhang up here, and we have an 18-inch, actually, apologize, it's this here. This is our point here between these two lines. That's where our gable end is going to be. Whoops. This over here, we don't have it yet, but you see this little structure right here? We're going to put another one over on this side because they wanted to add some stuff over there. So what we're going to do is just copy this detail over to here. that. Mirror this guy over here. Trim. Draw a line up. There's another hip right here, and that comes up until it hits this. And then again, we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. We're going to offset this. No, we're not. This is a different deal altogether. How do we do this one? Because at this side, see, I'm figuring this out as we go right now. If we wanted the gable to be all the way at the end, like it is here, pull this one over. Here it is. This is it here. You can see how this gable is the entire end of the house. If that's the case, then what we want to do is exactly what we've got here. One second, I'm going to pause this while I figure this out. Alright, so I figured it out, and here's the reason why I was confused. This is shown as an 18-inch overhang, but since it's a gable, it's actually going to be a 12, so we're going to move that over 6 inches. When we do that, this is where we see the problem now. So we're going to move this guy back over 6 inches, and we're going to end up with a little bit of a wraparound deal here, where this becomes our little, see we have like this little V, like a zigzag again, similar to this zigzag. The only difference is this one's only going to terminate probably back somewhere around here. So you can kind of see how if this is a roof that's sloping off to the side, it just comes over here and dies off. So you could put some gutters like right here. And when we draw the side elevation, you'll see how that looks. And this could be maybe about 4 feet. So now we have our normal gable. It's again a 12-inch overhang. And that just is going to randomly come over here. Now we've got also this roof here, another separate gable, and it comes up independently. So the question is, how do we know? We knew where this ridge was because it was in the midpoint. Again, we can draw a circle and see how it touches there and there. We know that we're right in the middle. And that only works if this is a 10-foot plate and this is a 10-foot plate, which they are. So how do we find the ridge for these two roofs? So what we're going to do is draw a 10-foot plate on the back right here. It lines up with this detail. Offset this 4 inches, and then we're going to go up 121. That's 10 foot 1 inch. And we're going to draw a 7 and 12 pitch. 12, 7, close, offset 6 inches. And then we're going to do our 18-inch overhang. And yeah, I'm doing it sideways, but you can do it sideways or upside down or however. There's our simple boxed soffit right there. And we're going to connect this to this one here. This was our 7 and 12 pitch that was sitting on a 12-foot plate, if I remember right. Let's see, this should be 12 feet. That is 12 feet. Right there, 12 foot 1. This one is 10 foot 1. You don't need to dimension that, I'm just doing that to show you. And so here we have where our ridge will be. So we're going to draw this across, and this is only for this center section. So we'll come over here, and it will look like this. Okay, now how do we figure out this? Well, the truth of the matter is, this whole gable here is going to be the exact same as this side because we're pretending that this goes all the way across like that. Basically, that's our roof. Okay, so this line continues all the way across, which means that this ridge is at the exact same spot, like this, and it kills right there. You can see that we're pretty close to what the original plan was. We're not right on, but close enough that I know it's going to work. Then we come to the back. This is not drawn yet, so we can't copy it. We're just going to draw a big 7 and 12 pitch roof, which means we just draw 45-degree angled lines. This becomes a ridge here, and mirror that, and this is going to become another zigzag. And here's what we have here, another zigzag. It comes and wraps around. This sloping 7 and 12 roof wraps around the gable. And here you can see here, this is the 7 and 12 roof, and it wraps around the gable. So that is, right there, what we have is the basic roof. We're going to go ahead and extend this over. We're going to add, and I sure do not like these 18-inch overhangs. I'm going to change that to 12-inch. So we're going to stretch these over 6 inches and 6 inches, because when we build our wall up in the attic like this, that's a wall that the framers will put up there, and those walls need to have a 12-inch overhang. There's 12 and there's 12. And so every gable that we have, this is a gable, it has a wall. 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 This is a gable, and it has a wall. Does that make sense? Alright. So at this point, we actually have the basic roof, and that's about 90% of the battle with these things. We also want to make sure that this peak did not interfere with this ridge. Right now it looks like it would have. You see that? It's looks like this ridge went higher than the main roof, but because this house got bigger, in fact, let me just check one thing, 7 and 12, make sure the back was at 7 and 12 too. Yep, 7 and 12. So it looks like they just simply didn't draw their ridge high enough. So here's how we can test that. We take this same model that we created, turn it sideways, line this up, move previous, get it out of the way, the stuff. And if I take this point here and draw it across, you can see that for some reason the original designer had that way too low. So we just fillet that, and there. Now, at least we know that there won't be anything weird. If this was here, then we'd have to do some funky deal like this, where we'd have to create a pop-up that looks like this. And that's what it would have looked like if it had done this. And we try to avoid that if possible, where this roof sticks up higher than the ridges. But that's not the case, so not a problem. Alright, so that's it for the basic part of the roof, the most important part. And then we just go ahead and grab our overhang dimensions and pop a few more on. We can convert this over to 12 and grab that and put it at a few of these other spots, just so the framers know what we're doing for overhangs. And on the next video, I'm going to show how we fill in all the stuff on the inside.